every time we have to see what is the precipitating factor for the heart failure. So that is the most important for us to control it, because most of the time it is not the progression of the disease which causes the persistence or worsening or not able to treat the heart failure. It is most frequently because of some precipitating causes there which we are not addressing. The coming to the etiology of the heart failure in the women, specific to the women, we can say the pericardial cardiomyopathy. Following the delivery, the gynecologists are there here, so they must be facing the problem either during the delivery or before delivery, 2 weeks before delivery or 4 weeks after the delivery. At any time, the patient can come with a heart failure. And autoimmune disorders. And I know that a few of the rheumatologists are also here. So that is also not only the PAH, even the myocardial involvement is an autoimmune disorder that are very frequent. Of course, all collagen vascular diseases and breast cancer treatment patients. Most of the breast cancer treatment patients nowadays are dying because of the treatment complications than a breast cancer going into the metastasis. So the drugs which will produce, especially the doxorubicin, which is known to decrease the heart contractility. And of course, viral myocarditis, which we have already seen, are more frequently with reported nowadays, and alcoholic intake, toxins, even simple tachycardias, persistent tachycardia. The previously they used to think only the arrhythmic tachycardia is known to be associated with cardiomyopathy. But nowadays, even persistent sinus tachycardia, whether that is a cause or effect is still a controversy, but many people almost now come to the conclusion that it is a cause than an effect to say that. So we can test out the heart rate, especially after the walking for the 6 minutes, and see the recovery time. How much you tested with the basal heart rate, which is about 70 or 80, you walk for the 6 minutes, and it increases to 110, and how much time it is coming back. Within the 2 minutes, is supposed to come back to your basal level. If it has not come in, we are at the risk of the development of heart failure. This is a simple test which all of us can test by ourselves. This 6 minutes walk test has become a very important after the COVID. That's why I brought that topic now. And of course, stress-induced cardiomyopathy, we used to think that it is unique to the females, but nowadays it is increasing in the males also. But the type of the stress are different in the male and the female. The stress in the female is most frequently is in mainly because of emotional stress. Whereas physical stress or trauma is a common for the stress-induced cardiomyopathy in the case of the male. So the only these differences are there. There is a muscle mass itself to be different between the male and the female. What is that is, there is a lower left ventricular LV mass in the case of the female and a greater left ventricular contractility. That's the reason why the females have a more preserved ejection fraction than a decreased ejection fraction. And a more preserved LV mass is aging. Aging usually causes the apoptosis in a male more frequently than the female. So the muscle mass is more in a male than in female. And the lower rate of the myocardial apoptosis, which is almost relating to the third component, a smaller coronary vessels. That is another one. They have their doubt whether smaller size is attributable or the mismatch between the body weight to the coronary vessels, which is responsible for the ischemia. And a fasting resting heart rate, that's what I said, which is males are usually have 70 to 80, females most frequently have 80 to 90. So the resting heart rates are higher. And the less catechol between vasoconstriction. So these are the major differences in the innately present in the myocardium itself. So the diastolic reserve is very poor in the case of the females because they are already at the Frank-Stallings law, at the upper limb of the Frank-Stallings law. As you know that Frank-Stallings law, the upper curve reaches to the peak, then the actual deterioration starts. Their basal level itself is in the upper limb of that curve. And greater arterial symptoms and the pulse pressure. Pulse pressure is uniquely more in the case of the females. The pulse pressure, which was we used to think that it is aortic regurgitation, anemias, which was important nowadays, because all those things, pure pulmonary, you have a pulse pressure more. That is systolic, diastolic difference. If it is more, again there are likely to have a more arterial stiffness. A smaller vasculature, more macrovascular disease, concentric ventricular embolism, stronger immunity and greater inflammation. We think that a stronger immunity is a positive sign. I'm going to show you a small study. The stronger immunity will cause the more release of the HSCRP, which is a more damages to the heart. So don't believe that having a stronger immunity is always effective. But stronger immunity, which has to be effect the pathogens is much better than to the any action. Of course, there is a different phenotypic implementation because of that, and there is a epidemiological factors are different. As I already mentioned, that the cardiac measure size and fibrosis is different, and there are the unique features in the female like hypertension disorder and everything. And I just wanted to concentrate a little bit on the pregnancy because there are many gynecologists here. So the major thing is the preeclampsia, gestation diabetes, delivery before 30 weeks of gestation, as small as gestation age babies are the predisposed. These type of the mothers are predisposed to the development of heart failure, which is we have already published along with the gynecologist in the journal in 2018. There is a separate issue was published on the women-related heart diseases in the 2018. Please, whenever you find the time, please go through that. And I wanted to say that for the gynecologist, as the severity of the eclampsia increases, the percentage of the hazard ratio of the heart failure increases. If the late preeclampsia, that is occurring almost just before the delivery, versus more than 9 placenta syndrome, plus preterm birth, plus small gestation age, they will have the more chances of developing the heart failure, even though the immediately after the delivery they look normal. These people will require a long-term follow-up from these patients. Of course, this is a busy slide. I don't think it's a better when to talk about it. And mechanism of the heart failure, if you see, there is a lower left ventricular end-diastolic volume at a similar left ventricular end-diastolic pressure. That is a major crux why the diastolic dysfunction is more. Usually there is a direct relationship between the increase in the left ventricular volume causes the increase in the left ventricular pressure. But in the females, it is not so directly proportional. There is a disproportional increase of the volume versus the pressure than in the normal, which occurs in the male members. So, in addition, the myocardial remodeling it is, and the mechanical load is different in both the genders. So, the better systolic cardiac performance, as I already mentioned, LV mass is high, LV contractility is high, LV volume is less. So, that's why these females will have a good contractility. So, actually, if you see, when there is injury or a burst overload, the LV mass becomes hypertrophy to a greater extent in the woman than in men. So, after the rash and SMS activation, the women, in the women it causes a decreased apoptosis in cellular death, whereas in the men it causes increased apoptosis in the cellular death. So, this causes a late onset of the cardiac decompensation. Why it is occurring a decade later when compared to the men, even with the preservation of the contractility, even when LV mass is higher than to them. This is the mechanism. Why it is late decompensation occurs in them a decade later. So, of course, the sex hormones has an effect on this. As you already know, most of the androgens will have an effect on the contractility, ventricular mass. Almost neutral in the estrogen. Only the thing is the ventricular mass will decrease and the cardiac will decrease in estrogen. So, the different effects of sexual organs also contributes to the development of this heart failure. So, of course, to say silently what are the points which are told now is the older age is more frequent, result ejection fraction is more frequent, and they have a more decision on the exertion. For the same degree of the ejection fraction or the same degree of the disability, the females will persist more of breathlessness. And depression is a very predominant feature in a females. Why they usually doesn't even respond to the treatment. That is one of the things. And women more frequently develop an LVB on ECG than men. And of course, under treatment, under representation at every stage is occurs as the diagnosis, the treatment, examination. And index to the body surface area, if you see it, the cardiac enzymes usually we see the cutoff points. They don't say the males and females separately. But actually, it should be indexed to the body surface area. So, the natriuretic factor levels are usually higher in the woman. So, the cutoff points which is taken in the male is not applicable to the female. We will overdiagnose in these patients. But we should say say it is a requires a follow. That may be a better word than the cutoff points raising to the females. And of course, the same way, a peak VO2 appears to be the lower for the women than the men. So the adaptive mechanisms are also is not very good in the women. There is a significant gaps in the care. The high sensitivity troponin, as I already mentioned, there is a sex-specific cutoff that is required. And despite the method, 60% of the men taking the myocardial infarction are secondary and non-secondary. They doesn't pay attention because they say that there is no obstruction. So patient will be told that normal conditions need not worry, but actually event rates are high. And of course, just I wanted to tell about this small study. You see that age group is occurring actually post-COVID. There is no normal condition. Hemoglobin, as we already know, that is lesser in the female. And cardiac enzymes wise, a more increase in the cardiac enzymes of the early age in the case of the females than compared to anticoagulated levels are more predominantly involved and more increase in the males than the females. Whereas HSCRP predominantly in the females than in the males. I wanted you to pay attention to that in HSCRP, which is a good marker to know whether the patient is going to have the event rates or anything. And as we said previously in the first slide, good immunity is there. Always good immunity doesn't mean that it is a protective. This is an example for that. So of course, management guidelines, there is no difference in the first line of drugs and the core drugs. That is AC inhibitors, beta blockers, spironolactones, and the SGLT2 receptors are equally effective in the male. And specific to the women, actually requires attention in the pregnancy, peripartum cardiomyopathy, which is already mentioned previously. And the management by rates and attributes has included 43% of the females, and they demonstrated the mineral particle receptors are effective in the females also. Digoxin intervention in the good trial. This trial has demonstrated when you are giving a digoxin, when the digoxin is less than 45% versus when there is more than a year, the higher rate of deaths are there when the ejection fraction is less. So we have to be a little bit cautious in giving the digoxin with a reduced ejection fraction in the female and compared to the female. And of course, solid trial has demonstrated that frequently associated with thromboembolic risk in the women. And CRT-ICD is less recommended to the females, but equal efficiency is approved. But major problem is that the left ventricular devices, which are because of the small nature of the females, becomes difficult to put a bigger LVACs. So they require the modification to have a smaller LVACs to as a bridge to transplant to manage that. And everything, minimum weight and height requirements, that is the most important thing. We have to adjust it. Of course, these are the few drugs which are I mentioned about during the alternative during the pregnancy, which I think you can see in the journal what we published today. And algorithm for the management is when the mother comes with the heart failure, it is greater than 23 weeks. Then the first thing we will see is the maternal fetus, if the maternal status is unstable, delivery has to be done. And if the maternal status is stable, the pregnancy can be continued. If the non-viable fetus, then the delivery and advanced heart failure therapy is the better management of the baby. And the acute heart failure during the pregnancy, many of you are aware of the vasodilator and the BP is monitored. And the BP is dropped for iron block, the non-invasive ventilation, and the mechanical assisted devices, and the urgent delivery recommended. These are the latest guidelines in the heart failure during the pregnancy with the ESL. All these things to say that mainly you have to concentrate in the 4-drug regimen. Immediately after the delivery, there is no contraindication of the giving an AC inhibitors. So during the pregnancy, yes, AC inhibitors are the concern, but not even on the first day after the delivery, you can give it even though the renin activation still persists in the body. And of course, the prognosis trial is because women with heart failure tend to survive longer, even though they are the more symptomatic and more frequent hospitalization, but survival is longer than the and the mortality is for women with female heart failure and survival. And due to the unit of physiology and etiology, difference in the cardiovascular physiology and neurohormonal mechanism, and drug pharmacokinetics and metabolism, women need to be more proportionately represented in the research studies. The major problem what we have is always we are how much percentage of the females are represented in the study. And solid trial, which is which I already mentioned, the 43%, that is the highest. And if you see that according to the age group, after the 60 years, actually the females dominate. But still they are not represented. Either the doctors are at the fault of the recruiting them, or the patients are at fault, they are not coming for them in clinical trials. It requires a real discussion, and more of the pharmaceuticals and the seniors, like Dr. Wonder and everyone has to take care of the clinical trials involvement for the females has to be the issue. So these are the trials which are mentioned and coming to the guidelines specific, as I already mentioned, 4 guidelines are specific to that, 4 drugs are already proved to be that, and value statements are added to this. So whether enemy to be given or to be the continued along with this ACE inhibitors, value statement is given in the recent absolute, and of course amyloidosis treatment is always specific now. And the primary prevention, as I already mentioned, the stage 8 is given more importance for the prevention of the heart failure than the management of the heart failure. And if you take the primary prevention of the heart failure in the women, there are the target strategies to prevent that. And mainly we have to see the anti-cancer treatments. So the drug therapy whenever they receive monitoring, like that there are the exercises and the cessation of the pumping and the lipid lowering drugs. And the pregnancy and the heart disease has to be evaluated in any and due to directions, I will say that the quality of the suboptimal infrastructure management and primary prevention, this requires the maximum attention. Then after the development of the outer circle management. So greater advanced LV remodeling. So you have to insist on exercise. That is the only treatment which is causing the improvement in the electronic remodeling. In summary, the heart failure is important cause of morbidity and mortality. Women tend to be developed a heart failure at a older age compared to the men. Heart failure with the preserved ejection fraction is more common in women than in men. Overall recommendations for the guideline directed medical therapy show no difference in the treatment approach between the men and the women, but future studies should light on different mechanisms causes and target therapy the heart failure in women. Thank you all.
Thank you, ma'am, for the wonderful disposition, and I'm sure the facts about heart failure, especially in women, have been highlighted very aptly. And for us, I could see non-medicals in the organization, also in the gathering over here also. If there are any questions or comments?
I think you'll all agree with me that was a masterly presentation. Madam was just making a comment about less women in trials. I think they are more intelligent than men because if you look at her talk also, probably men have more muscle mass. Even in the heart, the muscle mass is more. So the brain cells are probably more in the women. I think that's the reason. वो चाहती है कि दूसरों के experiments वगैरह हो जाए पहले, ये जो मेल लोग हैं अपने ऊपर करा लें. अगर कोई ट्रायल ड्रग अच्छी होगी तो हम भी यूज कर लेंगे, नहीं अच्छी निकलेगी तो फिर इनके ऊपर तो ट्रायल होगी अच्छी. Because so the secret lies actually in the excessive brain cells, I think. The weaker sex that is present in this hall today, I can see Sarju and Dr. Gautam and even Rajiv and a lot of people. Rohit is also smiling. You also belong to the weaker sex, by the way. So I must tell you that the longevity of life, some of you are discussing women's health, but the longevity of life in men and women, we know whether we talk of India or we talk of Japan, or we know Japan has one of the highest longevity of life. India has today much less than Japan. But be it any country, the longevity in women is 3 to 4 years more than men. So actually, Dr. Suman can tell us, and Gurselam is there, they can tell us why we are discussing the health issues of a sex which is already having better health than us. One thing was missing. It was a lovely lecture, but one thing that was missing in this talk was the compliance issue. I thought, how is the compliance to drugs? I was just wondering because women are mostly used to commanding others and telling others. So how do they fare when they are told कि ये दवाई खानी है आपने, ये इतनी मतलब सुबह भी खानी है शाम को भी? That part I think Madam Jyotsna needs to do some more research on that aspect. Do they fare similar in compliance? My guess would be, I can't voice here because there is a dominance of women. But leave that apart. Thank you, ma'am, and thank you, Shika. And I think we should have a discussion on this topic more often. Thanks, Shiva, for putting it up, and thanks, Prem Gupta ji, Madam, Mrs. Sunila, ma'am, for gracing this occasion. Thank you, and I think we are on to have the second talk now. Shiva?
Thank you so much, sir, for your valuable comments. It was, please don't get off the stage because the style is very important. I would request Dr. Jyotsna ma'am to please come up to the stage to be honored for. Okay, I think there's an important meeting that she has to be back soon. We planned for her to be honored. Thank you so much, sir, and Dr. Puri sir for being here and chairing this session. And sir has very aptly said that compliance issues in women are really very significant. It's so very prominent that we do administer drugs, but the compliance of these drugs is not there. And that is the reason why we are here today. We are here today to celebrate Aarogya Nareetva. So Aarogya Nareetva means that a lady should not have any significant health issues. A lady should be free of disease. And for that, self-care is very important. A lady in herself needs to identify that I should not have a disease. What are the steps I need to take for it? And we are so many women sitting out here and we are all physicians. We also need to understand that what is this day? This is a day of International Day of Action for Women's Health. And there are several callings and slogans for the same. By the time we await the presence of our Municipal Commissioner, Dr. Shena Agarwal, who's about to come, she said that she'll be here in another few minutes. And by the time we go in for that, we need to understand that what is the calling of today's day. So the calling of the day is, number one, women health matters. Yes, a woman's health matters. And as Secretary Sir always says, I was talking to him yesterday, and he did, make some amendments in my thought process. Sir said that education of a woman is very important. And he actually proposes that this education should be there for every girl who is born in this country, and it should be compulsory. And I actually admit and admire. If today is the day that we are over here, so many ladies who are doctors, we have been actually brought up by our parents who have educated us and allowed us for this day. So, this education will give us the right to achieve what International Day of Action for Women's Health can. What? Women's health matters. An educated woman would have good health spread all around. And another thing which is very relevant, as I was talking to Sunila ma'am yesterday, I would share, when I talked to her, her thoughts actually touched me. Ma'am, I talked to her about women health, and ma'am said, what is health? Health is about the hand that rocks the cradle, is the hand that rules the world. So what is the hand which rocks the cradle? We all know it is the mother who rocks the cradle of her child. And when she rocks the cradle, these lines were from Napoleon, I believe, if there's someone in the audience who would, am I right now? These lines are from Napoleon. And he said, the hands that rock the cradle are the hands that rule the world. And that's exactly what ma'am said. That if you want to talk about women health, she was guiding me, She said that if you want to talk about it, you should know that what a mother can do for her child. Because if she's the source of health, she will spread this health further ahead to her children. She said, does a mother not feed her children a nutritious diet? She said, does a mother not tell her child not to be sitting onto the mobile all the time? Dr. Puneet would agree with me that we have got so many issues with technology and eyes, and so she said, does a mother not do it? I said, yes, ma'am. So that is the crux. That's why a woman's health is very important, because that is the basic epitome which starts and spreads in the family and in the society ahead. So thank you so much for being here. And as we await the presence of our Municipal Commissioner, who's about to come and deliver us the next talk, she is herself an AIMS pass out. As we await for her, I would request Niru Katyal ma'am to please come on the stage and give us few insights about the thought for the day.
Good afternoon, everyone. As we celebrate International Day of Action for Women's Health, I feel honored to be part of this event. I congratulate DMC, Hpv Institute, and especially the organizing secretaries, Dr. Shiva Thakkar and Dr. Mohanji, for this initiative. I think already Dr. Jyotsna and Dr. Shiva has told us the significance of the same. But as a non-medical, I want to just put forward two things. One is that as an administrator, as a doctor, or as a specialist, whatever capacity we are in, or whatever role we are playing, we take a pledge today that we will educate our fellow women, we will guide our fellow women, and we will support our fellow women in the health-related issues. And second, which is the most important, I think, for all those ladies, the intelligent, talented, and the wonderful women sitting in this auditorium, that I, as a woman, promise myself to take care of my own health. We all know for that periodic and routine checkups, but how many of us we are going for that? Whenever there is some issue, how frequently and how immediately go for medical help? We just keep on ignoring. So we promise ourselves that we are going to do it. We should do what we want to do. We will be doing that so as to make ourselves healthier, to make ourselves stronger. Because as the saying goes, Sashakt Nari se hi Sashakt Samaj banega, and I feel Tandrust Nari se hi Tandrust Samaj banega. Thank you. Jai Hind.
So thank you so much, ma'am. Indeed, very well said. सशक्त नारी से ही समाज जो है उसकी उत्पत्ति है, और सशक्त नारी की पहचान है एक अच्छी सेहत की और एक अच्छे और बलवान समाज की. So it's said that a woman who is healthy is the woman who can create a good society and the world around. I would now request Dr. Gulshan Sidhuman to please come up to the dais and give her opinions. She is one of the leading physicians and the senior most lady physician of Ludhiana. I will just request her to give some of her thoughts about the day.
Shiva caught me unaware. I had no idea. But it's such, indeed, it's, the moment that we are celebrating, women have, it is in itself, is a big thing. And Dr. Wanda, Dr. Puri, and Ma'am Niru Katyal, whatever you have said, it's like a golden truth. And one point was coming in my mind, like we said, women live longer than men. That was, data which has been coming up. And now that the women are exposed to much more career, more stresses in life, balancing home, balancing children, and balancing career, I don't know what will be the longevity in coming next 50 years. I think we'll have to really see, because till now, women have come to careers and more so since last 30
changing. Things are changing. Now that, it's kind of things will be coming, it's 50%. 50% seats are now reserved for women. Say it or not, they are reserved. Since every woman now wants a career, and it is very important for everybody. It is now accepted that, every woman wants an economic independence. Men also want that women should be economically independent, and they are happy when they don't have to, when the woman has her own purse, she's not asking for the purse of the man. So men are also happy that way. But I really, that point really struck me that we really have to see next 30 years to come that what happens to the longevity of the life. Though we always say it's the hormones, they are more protective for the cardiac health of the woman, for the health of the woman. So this just came in my mind, so I thought I will share it with you. And it is indeed such a great pleasure that we are celebrating it as a day. And we can't call anybody a weaker sex. I would oppose to it. We are complimentary to each other. That was taken in very well spirit, because we never call ourselves weaker sex. So it's compliments, and it's men and women are always complementary to each other. Without one person, the other person cannot grow. And this of course, it's the truth, and it will remain true. And always, women are growing. Every woman, like Shiva said, why we are educated because our parents helped us to get educated. So, because, and later on, our teachers, men, everybody, we groomed up by the society, and men, of course, without men, it is impossible, I would say. I would give a lot of credit to the males for making the women rise up from the home to the tower, because you need help everywhere. The woman needs help of women, you need help of... I would put everybody as human beings, and everybody should be as equal, So it is, health, of course, is the most important thing. And health at every stage of life, right from the... because we're talking more of women, because women are more physiologically fragile. Coming right from menarche to the fertility, and then to the menopause, then till old age, the skeletal issues, the osteoporotic issues, they are definitely much more with women. So hence, it is a more fragile kind of thing. So it's much more required. Our chief guest has arrived, and I welcome the chief guest. Sunila, we welcome you. And I think Dr. Shiva would like to take over. Thank you very much.
Thank you, it was indeed great listening to you. And it's my hearty pleasure to invite none other than Dr. Shena Agarwal. We all know her, that she is the Municipal Commissioner of our city. And it indeed gives me great pleasure to invite Mrs. Surbi Bale, the Deputy Commissioner of the city. And all wows, I can see Neeru Kachal also there. It's indeed a pleasure to have all of them as we celebrate International Day of Action for Women's Health. So going on with our proceedings, we all touched so many aspects about women health and women health education. In fact, if you were given ear to me, we always say that education is the stepping stone. The reason that we can see a Deputy Commissioner of our city being a lady, the reason that we can see the Municipal Commissioner of our city being a lady, the reason that we can see that our great lady, Mrs. Neeru Kachal, being here, who's worked so much for years as ABC, and also, who has worked now for Improvement Trust. Why is this happening? The reason that we see that there are so many lady physicians who are here, cardiologists, neurologists, nephrologists, and of course, our lady commissioners, deputy commissioners, and municipal commissioners. What's the reason behind it? The reason behind it is that several years ago, 20 to 30 years ago, there must have been a movement. A movement when parents must have decided, this is my girl child, she should not stay behind. She should aggress and go ahead, and all are here today. Thankful to our parents, a very hearty welcome to both our commissioners, not falling short in between you. I will now request Dr. Sheena Agarwal to please come up to the dais and give us her oration. The words for her are, we educate women because it is smart. We educate women because it is changing the world. And to talk of Dr. Sheena Agarwal, she has been a topper throughout. She was first in CBSE PMT. We all as doctors understand what CBSE means. That means first amongst all the cadets in the country. She was first amongst the IAs. That's what my brother also tells me. She's always been sharp, astute, and perfect in her work. We welcome you, ma'am. Please come here. Waiting to listen to you. All yours.
Surti Malik, Deputy Commissioner Ludhiana, Dr. Aarogya Gupta, Prem Gupta from DMC and all the entire team of DMC. I thank you so much for inviting me here. And I also congratulate you for organizing this event, as this is a one of its kind event to create awareness about a very important issue, but which is not, however much we may talk about it, it would still be less. So awareness about women's health. This reminds me of, talking about women's health, this reminds me, takes me back to my MBBS days, and I deeply remember one of the sentences from Park textbook, that health is not just a state of complete physical health, but health is a state of complete physical, mental and social well-being. So, talking about health, health is important for all, be it males, be it females, but talking about women's health is important because this was a topic historically, traditionally in our society, in our culture, which has not been talked about as it should be. So, today, these days, as we see here, as I see here, half of the auditorium is filled with women, and that is a very nice thing to see, because that means that half of our ladies in our medical field, half of the people in our medical field, half of the doctors, half of the staff, they are all women, and that is a very proud thing to see. So, women are shouldering double responsibility these days. They are working equally both inside the houses and outside the houses. And this means that they need to be doubly taken care of. Their health needs to be cared for, not just physically, but even mentally and socially. So, realizing this thing, it is important to understand that women's health, women face particular issues in health per se, which need particular attention. So, even from a physical perspective, even from the physical aspect, we see that many diseases are on the rise, and especially in women. There is a predilection of many diseases occurring more frequently in women, and those include various lifestyle-related diseases also, various infections, various cancers, and you all must be aware of that, so I need not, I think, go into the detail of those because the medical fraternity can tell that better. But it is important to create awareness about all of those diseases, not just in the medical fraternity, but outside. As part of the medical fraternity, it is the responsibility of everyone sitting here that we should spread this information outside amongst our peers, amongst our families, amongst our neighbors, amongst our relatives, and everyone should be aware of the various health issues and how to take care of them. Say for example, we do study, we commonly hear about the things, screening of cancer, screening for cervical cancer, screening for breast cancers, and other diseases. So these things are, I think, still not as common as it should be. For somebody from a non-medical background, for somebody who is not into this, I still think that the awareness
is not as much as it should be, and it is important to spread this awareness amongst the people, amongst not just the ladies but also amongst our male counterparts, amongst the families, so that the everyone in the family supports women health, everyone in the family contributes to that, and everyone comes forward. And it is important that we should get all the preventive care, we should get all the vaccination as needed. The Hpv vaccination is recommended these days, but I still doubt how many of the ladies, if we see in our city, how many of them have gotten it. So it is important to spread this awareness amongst the females, not just in the medical fraternity, but even outside. And this is just one aspect about the physical health. The more important and the deeper issues of mental and emotional health, they also need to be taken care of. So women need support in her life, not just at the workplace, but even at homes. They need emotional support, they need mental support. There are workplace regulations which need to be adhered to. They need support in the maternity part, they need support during the childbearing part, during the age group, the childbearing age group, before and after. So these things are important, and these need to be talked about. It is important to begin this discourse, it is important to have this conversation so that these things come into the general domain and these are talked about and these become normal and they are treated equally as an important health issue. So I think this is one of the good steps that we are having this conversation here today, and I hope that all of us here today learn something from here and go back and spread this information even outside the limits, even outside the boundaries of our medical field, to general public as much as we can, and we would like to create this awareness. And let us hope that this would help in making the world a more equal place. Let us start from our cities. We would try to make our city a more equal place where we can have equal opportunities for women. We give them equal freedom and we give them equal care, not just physically, emotionally, mentally, all the aspects, so that they can perform even better and we have happier and healthier women and happier and healthier families in all. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much, ma'am. That was indeed a great insight. Yes, of course, we've been talking of happier women, and with the smiles that I can see right on the front row and all behind. In fact, I can see those 32 things come out of the mouth, and everybody is so excited as we talk of Aarogya Nareetva. Thanks for giving us that insight. And proceeding on with our ceremony, now's the time for our lamp lighting ceremony. May I invite the dignitaries for the day to please come up to the dais. Our very worthy Deputy Commissioner, the Chief Guest of the day, Mrs. Hpv Vaccination. I please request you, Dr. Monji and Dr. Mamta, please escort Dr. Sheena Agarwal. Please come up to the dais. Would request Dr. Monji and Dr. Gurindra, please escort the guest of the honor to the day. Mrs. Neeru Katyal, Dr. Mamta, please escort. And our great visionaries, I would request our worthy Secretary, Mr. Prem Kumar Gupta. Dr. Monji, Dr. Mamta, please escort, sir. Our Principal, sir, Dr. Sandeep Puri. Our Vice Principal, Chief Cardiologist, Hero DMC Institute, Professor G.S. Wanda. Our Medical Superintendents, Dr. Ashwini Chaudhary, Dr. Sandeep Sharma, would request Dr. Gurvesh to please escort sir to the stage. And Dr. Sandeep Kaushal, our worthy Dean Academics. Thank you so much to all the dignitaries. I would request Professor Joseph, Dr. Monji, if you could please ask them. So whenever we come and collect or gather for any cause, we are all aware that it is important to invoke Almighty's blessings. I would request all of you to please join me in doing that. तूने हमें जन्म दिया, पालन कर रहा है तू, तुझसे ही पाते प्राण हम, मांगते तेरी दया। तेरा महान तेज है, छाया हुआ सभी जगह, ईश्वर हमारी बुद्धि को श्रेष्ठ मार्ग पर चला। ओम। A very good afternoon and welcome to all of you. As we proceed with the formal proceedings, I would request somebody none other than who has mentored me. He is somebody who has initiated and sparked cardiology right from the beginning within me. I would request someone who has been a support, a guide, a father, Professor J.S. Wonder. I can never ever repay what all he has done for me. I request him to please initiate today's proceeding as he initiated cardiology in my life.
A very respected Deputy Commissioner of the city, Madam Surabhi Malik, the Municipal Commissioner of the town, Dr. Sheena Agarwal, Madam Neeru Katyal, our worthy Secretary, Mr. Prem Kumar Gupta ji, our worthy Principal, Dr. Sandeep Puri, Medical Superintendents, Dr. Sandeep Sharma, Dr. Ashwini Chaudhary, Dean Academics, Dr. Kaushal, very esteemed faculty of Dayan Medical College and Hospital, charming ladies and my dear friends. It is today indeed a very unique day, I would say, in the history of our institution, that we have the Deputy Commissioner, and I've been in this town for last 30 years. I really cannot actually recollect that the Deputy Commissioner and the Commissioner of the Corporation both happen to be the fairer sex. So we are indeed very fortunate to have two very brilliant ladies with excellent academic careers, and now they are going to translate it into practices in terms of alleviating some of the problems of this large town. And the very fact that the government considered it pertinent to post them here only shows the academic background and the faith and the confidence that the city and the administration and their seniors had in them. We wish them both a very good luck, and we indeed are very fortunate, ma'am, in this city to have you both as at the helm of the affairs. And we all look forward to a lot of change in the city, which we are sure is bound to happen. Coming to the topic that we are going to discuss today, of course, Shiba, it's a topic very dear to her. We all know lady physicians are now dominating. Dr. Sheena Agarwal was topper in the medical all India exam. In fact, a couple of days back, I was reading a news cutting that 65% of the students that now get into medical institutions in Punjab are actually women. So this is from a stage when we used to have reservation for women. There used to be 3 seats, I think, reserved for women. So we truly have come a long way. And any society, I would say, can call itself as a developed and an evolved society only if there are equitable opportunities for all the people to show their talent and to show their caliber. In fact, our religious background also, Guru Nanak Dev Ji said, "Soko banda akhiye, jit jamme rajan, phand hi phand hove, phando goj na koe." So if there are women, that is the reason all of us are there. And women, in fact, gave birth to all of us. And the mother's love, the mother's affection, and the kind of multitasking a woman does is all exemplary. We all know men have a very focused kind of they can do one thing at a time. but women can look after their houses, they can look after their children, they can look after the families, and of course now they are excelling so well in their jobs. Shiva was just introducing when she finished her DM and became a faculty. She came to me and she asked, what should I do? What should be my priority? And as a very patriarchal, I told her, Shiva, why don't you take up echo, because interventions are going to be very, very stressful. And no wonder, with her conviction and with her academic background, she said, no sir, I will be no less than anybody. And today she does all interventional procedures, everything that any man or anybody else can do. In this institution, of course, we don't do very complex procedures which are not beneficial for the patients, but anything that is beneficial for the patient as ethical is undertaken, and she's so proficient, and I can proudly say she truly is a complete cardiologist today. So just like her, we have so many other physicians in our town and physicians in our institution that we are so proud. In fact, a lot of our departments are today headed by women, and generally it is said they are tougher and they are more strict than the men as heads of the department. So they are obviously going to bring about the best in the people who are working under them. We thank the organizers, the Winkars and Madam Jyotsna for having graced the occasion, and special thanks to Mr. Prem Kumar Gupta, who has always been very emphatic on the fact that women should be given equal, or in fact I would say he gives greater opportunity to women to bring out the best in them. And I can proudly say our institution has a very transparent and a very violent administration, which gives people equal opportunity in terms of their caliber and their capabilities. And I wish all the women here a very good health. Yes, they normally are more concerned about my daughter. I am a father of two daughters. Actually, we have a very actually big two daughters club in this institution, of which Sandeep Puri is a member, Sandeep Sharma is another member, my colleague Bishop is there, and there are many others. So we are all very proud parents of daughters who have done so well and who have excelled so much. And my daughters always tell my wife, जो हम खाना मंगाते हैं आप उसको खुद खा लेते हैं, जो हम छोड़ती हैं. So she always says either I have to waste it or it goes to my waste. So their effort is always to look after the families, to look after their husbands. And we all appreciate that, and we only wish that you start taking care of your own health, because the woman is the backbone of the family, and the whole family ultimately depends upon the woman. And if the woman's health is good, obviously the family will be happy family. Thank you all for assembling here, and thank you, respected madams, for gracing this occasion.
Thank you so much, sir. Always your blessings, as I would say. Thank you. And as we move on, I would now request our worthy secretary, sir, Mr. Prem Gupta, along with the chief guest and the guest of the honor of the day, Mrs. Surbi Malik, Dr. Sheena Agarwal, Mrs. Katyal, our worthy principal, vice principal, our medical administrators, medical superintendents, Dr. Ashwini Chaudhary, Dr. Sandeep Sharma, and Dr. Sandeep Kaushal, to please come up and light the lamp. Lamp is very significant. Lamp is illumination. I will please request all of you to please come and light the lamp of Aarogya Nareetva. Light the lamp of health in women. Light the lamp of what Aarogya Nareetva stands for. Resist and persist. Resist and persist. Women health matters, whether it's the matter of health in any sphere, especially sexual and reproductive rights, the calling of the day. I request our worthy secretary, sir, to please light the lamp. Mrs. Sunila Gupta, to please come and join on the podium. Dr. Mohanji, the co-organizing secretary, please be there. Request request the dignitaries to please take their seats. Thanks for lighting this lamp. Hope the light illuminates in our hearts for the days to come and the message is spread far and wide. Great leaders don't tell you what to do. I repeat, great leaders don't tell you what to do. They show you how it is done. And I'm here to invite on the dais none other than who has shown all of us what needs to be done and in a very right way. A visionary, a firm believer, as Dr. Wanda just now said, that Secretary Sir has been very unbiased, very buoyant, and created an atmosphere in the institution where we hardly feel that when we are working, whether I'm a lady or whether I'm a man, we work with that grit and grace that he has allowed us to. I request our worthy Secretary Sir to please come and give us the important message for Aarogya Nareetva.
Good afternoon. Welcome Chief Guest Mrs. Ruby Malik, Deputy Commissioner, Guest of Honor Dr. Tina Agarwal, Commissioner Municipal Corporation, Mrs. Neeru Kotiar, Dr. Jyoshna Mudurari, esteemed faculty, member of the press and media, ladies and gentlemen. We all have gathered here to commemorate International Day of Action for Women Health. An educated woman can take care of her health and her family health. She can educate her family and children. She can protect her civil rights and is aware about health. The purpose of the day we are celebrating today can be achieved by giving all women the right of education. It will help us making good, educated and healthy family and society. I request to central and state government to make the women education compulsory. In our modern society, women are getting the higher education and making the big contribution for their family and society. Women today manage both household and professional work. Hence, the health challenges are more. I request to all the women over the age of 40 to get medical examination regularly. We at DMCH intend to spread awareness among the women regarding the health. We often organize the small talk to OPD areas for health awareness. I congratulate to the Department of Cardiology for the amazing efforts and the students who have made the poster for health awareness among the women. May God bless you all and provide all women on earth good health. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for encouraging us for the event and the day. The energy of mind is the essence of life. You can guess who said that. It was none other than Aristotle. And there is a direct correlation between a positive energy and a positive result. And when I talk of energy, I think of one person who's very energetic, bubbly, smiling, and you can see that smile right on the face despite a very, very hectic schedule. Yes, I'm talking of none other than the Deputy Commissioner of the city, worthy Mrs. Survi Malik. And I would share the extent of the energy she has. She saw me for the first time, maybe it must have been a 10 seconds introduction, and she remembered what I was wearing, what my name was, and what exactly I was, even after 20 days of just a talk on the phone. I shared something with her on WhatsApp, and at 11 o'clock in the night, she replied me within 1 second, who would die? Do that, not even me. So that is the extent of energy levels that she has, and she's still smiling despite tremendous pressures of people like us in the city, I would say. Welcome, ma'am. Thank you so much for being here. But before I invite you, I know you need an introduction from a person who is as strong as you are, who has that grit within him and who leads us. May I invite our worthy principal to please come up on the stage, introduce the chief guest of the day, and invite her for her talk.
Thank you, Shiva. was just looking at, Aarogya Nareetva. You made it clear because I was searching myself as to what is the meaning of the word Nareetva. Womanhood without any disease, without any rogue. And then I thought about the occasion, the International Day of Action for Women's Health. When I teach my undergraduate students, I often tell them that every word that you speak in your history is important and it is a potential question on which the examiner can grill you. And I was looking at all the words in this occasion. First one, health, of course, which matters to all of us. And then it comes to women. And Dr. Wanda was just discussing in that lecture before that longevity is more and still we have to care for women more because the woman looks after our house, the woman looks after our children, the woman looks after her needs, and we only look after her shopping needs. So, it's no longer that. It's an international day. So it's the world over that this day is being commemorated, celebrated. And the biggest word is action. So Shiva has actually put everything into action by getting the three stalwarts over here. Why women's health is important? Because the health of Ludhiana is right now in the hands of Mrs. Surabhi Malik, Mrs. Neeru Khatyal, and Mrs. Sheena Agarwal. So you've got these three doctors for the city, and it becomes all the more important for us to look after women's health. The chief guest of the day, Mrs. Surabhi Malik, the guest of honor, Mrs. Sheena Agarwal, Dr. Jyotsna, Mr. Neeru Khatyal, our secretary, Mr. Prem Kumar Gupta, all my colleagues from the administration, Mrs. Sunila Gupta, the members of the faculty, the organizers of this event. It's indeed a matter of pride for me to introduce our chief guest for today. Just like Shiva said that I had the occasion to meet Ms. Surabhi Malik about a few days back, and during those 15-20 minutes of an interaction, when we talked about governance, we talked about some issues regarding our hospital, I could see her perception, I could see her thought process, and I could see her decisiveness. I mean, we asked her for a request and she was very blunt. Sorry, anything but this. So, a 2012 batch IAS officer, she is the first woman officer to take charge as the Deputy Commissioner of the largest district of the state. She has previously served as the Additional Deputy Commissioner, Development in 2017. She also served as the Additional Commissioner of Ludhiana Municipal Corporation prior to that. She is indeed a very hardworking and a dedicated professional. She had her Masters in Economics from the London School of Economics in the prestigious Commonwealth Scholarship from 2007 to 2009. She completed her BA in Economic Honours from Lady Shri Ram College in Delhi. She's also the recipient of the Director's Gold Medal for Management at the Lal Bahadur Shastri National Academy of Administration at Missouri. She served as the Deputy Commissioner of Fatehgarh Sahib, the Deputy Commissioner at Roopnagar, at the Nangal Subdivisional Magistrate. She's also served as the Chairperson of the Patiala Improvement Trust and the Chief Administrator for the Patiala Development Authority. She was also the Tertiary COVID Care in charge at the Rajendra Hospital, Patiala. She has got many accolades to her career. She has served brilliantly, and that's perhaps the reason why the state government had the trust in her to lead the largest district of the state. It is indeed a great moment to have you, ma'am, over here, and all others. And as the occasion goes, there's nothing better than discussing women's health. Dr. Wanda already made it clear that we are women, we are enamored by the women in our families. Having 2 daughters and a wife, we've been out of ratio. Only that now I have a son-in-law and a grandson, our ratio थोड़ी सी बराबर हुई है. So we've got equal voting rights. But yes, the women's health is important, and creating awareness about it is important. Secretary Sir was also mentioning that everybody here in this audience is aware about all these things, कि vaccination होना चाहिए, health checkups होने चाहिए, but it's somehow skips your mind. So the audience over here is to be reminded of this fact, and as Dr. Sheena said, the audience needs to go back home, to go to their families, to go to their friends, and spread this message about the importance of how to take care about women's health. Thank you, Shiva, and thank you, ma'am, for gracing the meeting today. Thanks so much. May I invite Mrs. Surabhi Malik to kindly deliver her address. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for the very warm words of welcome. You can take a picture off the board. I'll feel a little easier in talking to you all. This is intimidating me a little bit, as if I'm just, it's really quite a privilege for me to be here today and to, speak to you all on an issue that's very important to all of us. It's also extremely frightening for me to be sitting in a room and a hall full of doctors. My husband himself is a doctor, so the adage that you eat an apple a day hasn't held true in my case, because it is my lot in life to be surrounded by them. Sheena, my batchmate and a really good friend, is a doctor. My husband is a doctor. Consequently, all our friends are doctors. So, it's really quite, intimidating. Coming to a college, I can see a bunch of students or junior residents sitting there at the backbenchers today, but probably front benchers throughout their lives. I don't know if you've been made to sit there today or not. You look like you could be, I don't know, watching Netflix somewhere. But, I'm really glad that we all are here to discuss a very, very important issue. These are issues that we club under the general head of women empowerment and so on and so forth. And we tend to sort of raise our eyebrows and say that, every so often we must have these seminars because they're good for the optics. But it's important to discuss women's health, I believe. I feel a little hypocritical sitting here and talking to you about it because, just off the top of my head, there are a couple of issues that I've needed checking out for the past few months and I've delayed. That, okay, my work will get over, we'll go on the weekend, we'll get this checked out later. But it doesn't matter how educated you are, whether you're a professional, if you're not educated, if you're not quite so privileged as the people in this room. It doesn't matter what your economic status is or your social status is. The truth is that we as women do tend to delay getting our health checked out. As women, we do that. And probably the men in our family, it's not that they do it on purpose, but it doesn't occur to them that they need to place primacy on the health of the women in their family. Because, in general, with our mothers and grandmothers, we are natural caretakers in the family, so it is not natural for other members in the family to do the caring for these natural caretakers. It doesn't cross our mind, and I think that's very, very important. We've had 2 terrible years of COVID, and we've seen a lot of health issues come forward. We've seen a lot of mortality. And I can tell you from personal experience, and I think Sheena will also back this up, but we've seen a lot of undiagnosed, comorbid patients come into tertiary care facilities, and a large, overwhelmingly large part of these undiagnosed patients were women in the hospital who had never, spent a night in hospital for decades and decades in their lives, and they hadn't got themselves checked out. So many were very, very surprised when they were told that they were diabetic, or when they were told that they were hypertensive, or if there were, symptoms that they displayed, the doctors found clinically And when they got them checked out, they were very, very surprised to have ailments that they did not know about. A lot of ailments today come from lifestyle diseases, and a lot of ailments can be prevented by timely checks. I'm not obviously going to tell a room full of doctors what these are and what we should be doing. You know that much better than I do. But I can tell you from my personal experience that it's so very important to spread medical awareness amongst society. I think medical awareness is something that should not only be taught. Medical education is not something that should be taught only in medical colleges. I think we should start early with our children. They should know what a balanced meal is. They should know what vitamins we get from what food. They should know what are the kind of diseases that people can get. Of course, this is all taught. However, I think enough stress should be laid on it throughout the education so that people know to come and get issues checked out timely. Timely intervention in many cases is key. So to that end and in that spirit, I think having this seminar today and celebrating this day becomes all the more important, because when a lot of you deal with patients, you realize that women's health issues do get ignored. So I'd like to congratulate Dr. Shiva for actually conceptualizing this concept. I'm standing here as an absolute proponent of the fact that we need to repetitively remind society to place women's health issues at a priority. When the woman of the house or at the workplace is healthy, that automatically means that the family is healthy as well. And when the woman of the house is educated regarding medical concerns, that automatically translates to the rest of the members of the family as well, to the children. So congratulations for having this event. And I think from the part of administration, Neeru, Shina and I are really glad to be part of this, and we look forward to taking this forward in Ludhiana in terms of whatever actionable points that we can really come up with, and mostly just spreading awareness and little reminders to all the women that are sitting here to chalk out a little day in their lives where they get those little checkups done every year or whatever is required. Little bit of care can go a long way in safeguarding our families from unnecessary hardship and strife. So thank you everyone.
Thank you so much, ma'am. It was indeed an amazing insight, and as I would say that this is what comes from a policy maker. Ma'am has just now mentioned about a day that we can have and celebrate. In fact, American Heart Association does have a Red Dress Day, when all the women dress up in red to talk about their health. So if you will permit, we will probably be having it as an annual issue in our city, where we can all gather and celebrate not just this day, but have some slogan or issue where we can raise the very relevant points. In fact, one point which Sir knows, Dr. Wonder knows, is very dear to my heart. I always talk of women who are pregnant, and we are so unaware about the issues in pregnant women. If a pregnant woman has hypertension, if she has diabetes, if she has had recurrent abortions, she is prone to having cardiac problems much more than the other women. And we have to raise and make our women more and more aware of it. And you have been a great proponent of this. You, Shena ma'am, Neeru ma'am, and of course, Dr. Jyotsna ma'am. They have all supported this cause. Now has done a lot of work and research on this, which we have published in our Indian Journal of Cardiovascular Diseases in Women, of which Dr. Jyotsna is the chief editor. Somehow she just got a sudden call from Health Minister of Telangana, for which she had to log in for a virtual meet, and we missed a few moments of her on the stage. So thank you so much. And as Dr. Puneet always tells me, whenever she meets me, she tells me that women never compete with each other. Women stand with each other, they uplift each other, they are together, and that is the reason why all of you are there. So thank you so much, thank you ma'am. And now we go ahead for the next event. I would invite Dr. Mohanji who's worked very hard, the organizing secretary with me, to come up for the newsletter release.
Thank you, Shiva. Good afternoon to all the respected dignitaries, our seniors, colleagues, friends, and students. I feel both humbled as well as privileged to be here today on this platform as we reach another important milestone in today's proceedings, the much-awaited release of the newspaper. I request our respected dignitaries to kindly oblige us by doing the ritual, please. I call upon Dr. Mamta, Dr. Shiva, and Dr. Gurinder and Ranjit ma'am to assist the dignitaries. Kindly give copies to our guests on the stage so that the newspaper can be released. The organizing team expresses sincere most thankfulness to all the contributors for the newsletter. We have tried to cover all the topics which are relevant to women's health in easy and comprehensible language. Dear friends, this is not merely the write-ups by various doctors, but a collaborated effort to express voice for awareness of women's health, very essence of today's event. And I am sure that each contributor is an epitome of a fine balance between work and profession in her own life, and also a true custodian of Hippocratic Oath also, and my heartiest congratulations to all the contributors. I request all the dignitaries to kindly elevate yourself from the dais and kindly do the ritual of opening the newspaper so that it can be released and made accessible to general public also to reach out for the maximum benefit. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Dignitaries, please be seated. So these newsletters are accessible to the general public also to raise the voice of our colleagues to generate the awareness. And also I would like to express my sincerest thanks to Dr. Mamta and Mrs. Ranjit ma'am for putting so much effort for Kalaviti. Another effort on another important event for today's function. It is an amalgamation of various spoken and unspoken roles, contributions, as well as needs of women. A colorful portrait of posters. So our special applause to our students, Richa, Shriya, Gurleen, Bhavneet, Disha and Manraj for collecting the posters and making the event more colorful as well as meaningful. Special thanks to Dr. Saran ma'am also from Doraha for contributing the posters. I would like to announce that for today's event we have more than 75 posters available to us, both in digital as well as manual media, and the results will be declared soon. The categories for the digital and handmade posters are different for the kind consideration of the judges. So on behalf of the organizing team of Aarogya Nareetva, I congratulate all the participants with the hope that newsletter will reach out to the society for maximum benefit. And also my special thanks to Rajvi, Raja, Vishal also for taking care of the editing part. So thank you so much, and I now call upon Dr. Shiva for the further proceedings of the event. Thank you so much.
So thank you so much for amazing contributions that we have from all. We have tried to touch some very salient points which matter to the women's health. And now is the time to honor our very important guests of the day. I would request Ms. Neela Gupta to please come on the stage because today is a Women's Day and we would be happy to have it from the lady of the hospital. I would request Dr. Baljit and Dr. Mamta to please escort her on the stage. Please be there. So I would request Mrs. Neela Gupta, our worthy secretary, sir, and the MAP members to please come on the stage to honor Mrs. Hpv Vaccination. Yeah. Secretary sir and ma'am to please honor the Deputy Commissioner of the city, the chief guest of the day. Our token of love and affection for sparing their moments despite a very, very hectic schedule. Thank you, ma'am. Thanks for being here. I would now request ma'am to please honor our guest of honor, Dr. Shena Agarwal. Thanks, ma'am. I know you're very scheduled, very tight. I know she's having meetings even late evening, late night, but always available and took out time just for the cause of Aarogya Nareetva. Resist and persist. Women's health matters. Sexual health and reproductive health. Thanks for your great input and address. And of course, a great thanks to Professor Jyotsna Madhuri, Professor and Head of Cardiology at Nizam's Institute, Telangana. She is the Chief Editor of Journal of Indian Cardiovascular Diseases for Women. And she's one of the lady, who's going to perform a live interventional case in coming NIC CSI. So a great achievement for us. She's been working for women in cardiology in the country as a whole. Thanks for coming despite all the inconveniences. Thank you so much, ma'am. And of course, I would request ma'am to honor worthy Mrs. Neeru Katyal ma'am, who has been there amongst us and inspiring me right from the time when I had this spark and thought in my mind. She was there to help us out. So, thank you so much, ma'am, for being here amongst us. Thanks for being here. And I would request Dr. Mohanji to hand over a token of love and affection to all our dignitaries on the stage. I would request Mr. Prem Gupta to please do the needful. Dr. Mohanji, we need to honor our very dear Sunila Gupta ma'am, and I would request Mrs. Survi Malik and Dr. Shena, Jyotsna ma'am and Neeru Katyal ma'am to please join. So, thanks for being here and sparing out your very important time. So thank you, women. Thank you, ma'am. Here the woman power, if I could say that. Thank you so much for today. I can and believe with support of everybody. Yeah. Thank you so much, sir. Yeah. Thank you. Thanks for being here. I would also request Secretary sir to please hand over a token of respect and honor to all our worthy MAT members. I know, but we thought that this represents International Day of Action for Women Health, so this trophy would be happy if you could keep amidst your many trophies, I would say. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Dr. Sandeep Sharma, sir. Dr. Puri, sir, our worthy principal. Dr. Sandeep Kaushal. A big applause from the audience. Thank you for cause of the Urja and energy. Thank you so much to all the dignitaries. I would request them to please take their chairs as Dr. Sandeep Kaushal, our Dean Academics, comes over here to announce the result of poster competition, which is very much awaited. Dr. Sandeep Kaushal, please.
Thank you, Dr. Shiva, for this opportunity. I think it talks about the woman power in the society. I'm happy to know that, as Shiva said, there are about 75 participants who put in their efforts to emphasize the points of International Day of Action for Women. It was a tough call. All the judges had a crisis. I'll start with the consolation prize. The consolation for Bhavneet, 2017, Parmat, batch 2019, Sakshi 2019, and Manraj 2019. This is one category. The students, all their representatives, Bhavneet, Parmat, Sakhi, and Manraj. Another set of second set is for Ikra, batch 2018, Rishabh Kulyani 19, Kritika Gupta 19, and Shubham Manjawat 19. And the third set of constellation is for Pooja Jindal, batch 2021, Manpreet Kaur, Mohammad Irfan, Arshdeep Kaur, Lovepreet Kaur from BSc first year, Samira from Sacred Heart School, and Nishant Naga, batch 2021. I request all the award winners, prize winners to please come, or the representatives to come on the stage. Please hurry up. Thank you. The third prize goes to 6 different set of participants. We have Taranjeet Kaur and Simran Kaur from BSc 4th year. A round of applause, please. Manpreet from batch 2018, Harjot from ICCU, Navjot Kaur from BSc 4th year, Muskan batch 2021, and Kerala batch 2018. Prize winners of the representative, please. The second prize winners are Amrinder Singh and Amandeep Kaur from BSc students, Yoshita from batch 2020, Ishpreet Kaur from batch 2018, Shriya Dogra from batch 2021, Shaina from batch 2017, and Anand Garg from batch 2019. A round of applause, please. And finally, the first prize goes to, we have a young achiever, Amaya Bansal from Satpal Mittal School, Sanya Malik from batch 2021, Sachi Bansal from batch 2020, Ishika Gupta from batch 2019, Ishpreet Kaur from batch 2018, and Suruchi Sharma from BSc 4th year. A big round of applause for Amaya, please. As you have seen that there are participants from all walks of life. We have young students, all students are young, nursing students, medical students, and all they have participated to demonstrate the International Day of Action for Women Health 2022. Thank you very much. big round of applause for all the participants who made their efforts and made these beautiful posters over there. Thank you.
Thank you so much. All the good things ultimately have to come to an end, but I don't think that this is going to come to an end, because I would rather say that we are embarking for a beginning to be together more often like this, to stand by each other, and my pleasure to deliver a vote of thanks. I'm greatly thankful to our worthy chief guest of the day, the Deputy Commissioner of the city, Mrs. Survi Malik, the Municipal Commissioner, Dr. Shena Agarwal, Mrs. Neeru Katyal, our worthy Secretary, Mr. Prem Gupta sir, Dr. Wander, our Chief Cardiologist and Vice Principal, our Principal, Dr. Sandeep Puri, our Medical Superintendents, Dr. Ashwini Chaudhary, Dr. Sandeep Sharma, and Dr. Vishwa Aishik member, Rohan Accentia, and our Dr. Sandeep Kaushal, Dean Academics. I am greatly thankful to Mrs. Sunila Gupta. Her smile always inspires me and keeps me moving right from so many years ever since I met her. Thank you, ma'am, for being here. I would like to thank all of you, all the worthy ladies physicians who are here and taken out their time, all the doctors and physicians, not just of DMC, but also of the city, who were just a call away, came out to stand up for this cause. I would also like to thank all the members of media who are here to not just capture this event, but also to spread the message of awareness of Aarogya Nareetva. I'm thankful to all the people who contributed to the newsletter. Dr. Mohanjit has mentioned all of them who contributed not just in the form of images and articles, but made the whole society very aware. I'm thankful to the judges of the poster competition. I would like to name all of them who have spared their time and come: Dr. Farhan Away, Dr. Kamal Preet, Dr. Monica Bassi, Dr. Priya, Dr. Mani, Dr. Suman Puri, Dr. Puneet Puni, Dr. Anurag Chaudhary, Dr. Ashima Taneja, Dr. Hitan Gora, Dr. Garima Mata, Dr. Anu Sharma, Dr. Monica Singla, Dr. Pooja Tandon, Dr. Sonia Gupta, Dr. Shirin Shah, and Dr. Nandita, who were all here. My sincere thanks to all of you, to the judges, and to all the people who contributed for the newsletter and wrote us the articles: Dr. Simran Wander, Dr. Farhan Away, Dr. Gursaran Sidhu, Dr. Rupinder Kaur, Dr. Astha Kapila, Dr. Bharti Agarwal, Dr. Chanchal Gera, Dr. Gagan Priya, Dr. Rishu Bhanot, Dr. Prerna Goyal, Dr. Suman Puri, Dr. Navjot Bajwa, Dr. Puneet Puri, Dr. Anurag Chaudhary, Dr. Anju Grewal, Dr. Kavita Sadhar, Dr. Amarjeet Kaur, Dr. Harpreet Kaur, Dr. Ashima Taneja, Dr. Dinu Gupta, Dr. Hitan Gora, Dr. Vandana Vitha, Dr. Vidushi Gupta, Dr. Nandita, Dr. Rita Rai, Dr. Navkiran Mahajan, Dr. Anu Sharma, Dr. Monica Bansal, Dr. Monica Singla, Dr. Pooja Tandon, Dr. Joginder Sindhu, Dr. Suman Sethi, Dr. Joginder Sidhu, Dr. Simran Kaur, Dr. Shruti Kakkar, Dr. Shirin Shah, Dr. Priyanka Arora, Dr. Jyoti Jindal, Dr. Mamta Bansal, our editors, Dr. Baljeet Kaur, and dietitian Shweta Bhatta, and the nursing college principal, Sister Tyson. In fact, everybody's laughing. I said all the names in one go, but I have to. For the contributions they have given, not just for the newsletter, but for supporting the cause and being here for the day. They are all the heads of the department and professors and assistant professors and assistant professors of very busy departments, but came here for the cause. Thank you very much, all of you. I can how forget, the people of my department. Under the leadership of our Professor G.S. Wander, I give abundant thanks to all and entire department of minds. Dr. Vishal Mohan, Dr. Naved Aslam, Dr. Rohit Tandon, Dr. Abhishek Goyal, Dr. Dhruvesh, Dr. Gautam, Dr. Akash Gupta, and of course, all our cardiosurgical colleagues, Dr. Rajiv, Dr. Sarju, Dr. Samir, Dr. Vikram, Dr. Gurmeet, Dr. Arun. In fact, if I am missing out on someone also, all of you are very dear. Thanks for being around me whenever I needed you and supporting me for each and every cause. You make me what I am with your support. Thank you so much for being here and supporting me. I would be failing in my duty if I do not recognize the tremendous efforts of some people who have worked not just for a few days, all these newsletters, the arrangements, the ribbons, the people have worked in day and out. I would like to thank Mr. Raja, who was just always a call away. Mr. Rajvi, his immense grit and strength. Yesterday night when Nan's flight was missed, before Nan could reach the place where she had to stay, her tickets were ready, the work was done, the driver was arranged, amazing efforts that he could make. I've been blessed with people who have worked day in and day out like this. Vishal, he's been working for 24 hours, sitting, editing, collecting copies, running around, so he's been, so much of thanks. Tajinder, with all his technical supports, Deepak and Sumedha, they've been running around, calling everybody. They are the reason why all of us are here. Mr. Hari will be seeing what kind of food and delight that he has for us just now, and Mr. Push and entire technical staff. I might have missed a few names. I apologize on that. Please forgive me if I've forgotten or missed somebody. I'm thankful to all of you. Abundant thanks. Let us stand for this motive and hope we make a difference. I also need to stand all our student coordinators who have worked like anything. Dr. Mohanji just now mentioned, we've had the coordinators, Richa and Shreya. We have the student editors, Gurleen and Pavleen, the co-editors, Manraj and Disha, and of course, the entire long team of student volunteers, which of course we will acknowledge in the group photograph, which is just for them. I would like to thank my parents for bringing me into this world. They are here. Thank you for all that you have done and brought me in this form. My parents-in-laws. I would like to thank my husband, my son, who let me spare so much of time for the event. I'm thankful to my entire family. And at the end, I'm thankful to Almighty. We start with Him, we end with Him. We have to be with Him. I thank Almighty for letting this day happen. Forgive me for what I have forgotten. Thank you very much. With folded hands. Thanks. And I failed in my duty for a very, very important thanks. I just realized. I forgot to mention the name who says that I'm Shiva left and right. So whenever I asked, and that is Dr. Mohanji's fault. When I said that I need to have this conference, she said, you just forget. You think I'm Shiva only. So I will photocopy and I would do whatever is needed to be done. Thank you, Dr. Mohanji. Thank you, everyone. I thank all the dignitaries and request all of you to please join us for the lunch. Thank you. Would also request for a group photograph by all the members of the newsletter as we all join for lunch. So we can be having photographs